Hey, it's Karri Flatla here for this week's Friday Fire at Remax Real Estate Lethbridge and KarriFlatla.com. When should you care about your real estate purchase contract? Whether you're a buyer or a seller, should you give a hoot about paperwork? And this is going to be a little bit reminiscent of my real property report lecture from about a month ago, which was very popular on Facebook and social media, especially with the lawyers. But why isn't this talked about? Like, this is a big part of our job. I don't even make a living unless I do a good job with offers, because everything in real estate is about an offer. If you're looking for a home, it's about writing and negotiating an offer. If you're selling a home, it's about offers. You know, one of my colleagues here at Remax, Chuck Goulias, I'm giving him a shout out, said the currency's in the offer. Everything in real estate comes down to offer, the offer to purchase on a house. Because if we're not talking about that and if we're not working towards that, then what are we doing? We're just, having fun looking at pretty houses like they do on TV. So I really want to talk about this, but I want to talk more importantly about our approach to this on my team and how we approach the purchase contract, because it is not what you think and it is not what most agents are doing. So no offense to my colleagues, but this is where we can provide you, the consumer, and our client, ultimately, a lot of value. So the right time to talk about the purchase contract is actually not when you're making an offer or receiving an offer. That's actually the worst time to talk about what's in a purchase contract, like legally binding terms and conditions in here. The best time to talk about the purchase contract is when we're sitting down with you, having a consultation, and we have a very lovely guide here for home buyers and the same one for home sellers. During the consultation, this should be included. Now, we're not perfect, and sometimes, we can't always meet with people the way we want to, especially with COVID, but technology does allow us to have much better communication than if the pandemic happened even 10 years ago. We have Zoom calls, we can screen share, of course we can talk on the phone, we have DocuSign, we have all these things. But the first time you look at this paperwork should not be, I'll send you a DocuSign so you can do an electronic signature and then we're done. How do you even know what you're signing? Like, if a lawyer said, hey, I'm going to send you over like 50 pages of paperwork to sign off on your will, would you be like, hey, could we maybe talk about what's in there before I sign it? And we're in a society now where we're very used to just agreeing to long terms and conditions. Like when you're using your iPhone and you're downloading something, you have to agree to all these terms and conditions and nobody ever reads it. But I think when you're buying and selling a house, maybe you don't want to take that kind of a chance, right? So when we sit down with you, for example, if you're a home buyer, we do a needs assessment before we go shopping for a home, because we want to understand what matters to you, and no two buyers are the same. Just like no two houses are the same. Not even builder homes are the same. So what matters to one buyer might be, I want a house that is in a certain kind of condition and that inspects really, really well, because that's my comfort level. Whereas another home buyer is like, I really want to get the best value for my money because I'm on a super tight budget, or a number of other constraints, or location, or whatever. But we can't do our job unless we sit down with you ahead of time and review how that all fits in to this, because you don't get the home without this. And then how that all goes depends on what's written in here. And we're not secretaries. And if your realtor's acting like a secretary, that's not good enough. So we don't just fill this in and just, send it off into the ether and magically you get a house like on HGTV. All of the pieces of this offer to purchase are negotiable. And does your realtor understand how to draft this offer in such a way to give you the most leverage in a negotiation? I'm assuming you care about that and that you want the best value and the best terms and conditions for you and your family when you make an offer on a home. This is a legally binding document. So you get the offer accepted, and then what? You are held to the terms and conditions in this document, right down to your financing, your home inspection, maybe the sale of your existing home. There's deadlines in here, there's parameters around that, the size of your deposit, the security of your deposit. Are you getting it back if things fall apart? Like, none of this stuff is a given or standardized. None of it. So it's better if, well, in fact, we do this. When we first meet with you, we always try to put a blank copy of the purchase agreement in with, you know, the fancy presentation and all that kind of stuff. We put this in with it. And I always tell people, you know, you might need a way to put yourself to sleep at night. Take some time to read this, because I guarantee, even if you've bought and sold a home before, you will see things in this paperwork that you're like, I don't really understand what that means, but it seems pretty important. Like how the inspection condition is written, or could we write it differently? Yes, we can. Does your realtor know how to do that? Should we write it differently? Well, depends on what's going on with the homeowner. You know, all these kinds of things. So I just can't overstate, you know, how important this document is. And if you're selling your house, it's the same thing, because this is what you're going to be receiving, and this is everything that we're working toward, is to get one of these so you can sell your house. Getting offers plural sometimes. More often than you would think, we are getting multiple offers, at least on my side of the desk. So, you know, you want to understand what it means. Like, what are you signing off on? What do the warranties and representations mean as a homeowner? What are you saying about your house in here? And could it come back on you if you don't understand what you're promising the buyer? Again, just one example of many. Deadlines and dates, I find, are something that a lot of people don't fully understand, the legal implications of meeting those deadlines. Very important, and there's all kinds of deadlines in a purchase contract. I would say just as important as the price are the dates and the deadlines in here. Again, all negotiable. So in summary, talk to your realtor about this document. This is called the Standard Form Purchase Contract, and we get it from our real estate association in Alberta. It's been vetted by lawyers. It changes every few years. The fine print matters. And your realtor needs to have a pretty solid understanding. We are not lawyers, but we do have a fiduciary obligation to make sure your interests are protected, and some of that is built into how this is written. If you have any questions, or you're thinking of buying or selling between now or even in the new year, we do have a lot going on over Christmas and the holidays, believe it or not. Lots of momentum in the Lethbridge market right now. Give me a call or send me a text at 382-7335. We'd love to hear from you anytime. And in the meanwhile, have a great rest of your weekend. Stay out of the wind if you can, and we will talk to you for next Friday Fire.